Good afternoon. It was morning. And I haven't taken my medicine, so I might be a little, because I've been here a long time. I've been up since 5.
You have.
Yes, and, well, good afternoon, Councilman Wells and the members of committee. My name is Rita Green, and I've been homeless since birth.
Ms. Green, can you pull the microphone a little bit closer to you?
Yes, sir. My name is Rita Ann Green, and I've been homeless since birth. I had a mother that had a husband that wasn't my father at birth. I was abused at birth. I started on alcohol and smoking cigarettes at 5. I went to work at 5. I learned to lie about my age at 15. I went to Dunbar, but my first job I think was the Pentagon and Western Electric. And then I just went on drugging, but I was a working addict. And then I became homeless when nobody wanted to take care of my moms. And then I became a prostitute because my family didn't want to feed my moms. And I had to stay on the street for a long time. And I didn't know nothing about being homeless. So I stayed in a gas station for something like 3 years. And then one day nobody never asked me about did I want to stay somewhere, but they would come and they would beg me all day long because I always worked. And then at the end, when I was broke, they would leave me and I would look around and I was always by myself. And I was wondering, why would they ask me for money, but I was always by myself, but they would always go somewhere and sleep, but they would always come around me. But I've always been a working person. And in 96, not my last job. In 96, I became a correctional officer, foreman for the D.C. Department of Corrections. I used to get the inmates and take them to work for landscape, maintenance, and painting the firehouses. But I was still an addict. And people used to always come and get my money because I always used to buy big drugs when I got paid. But I was still working every day. I always worked at it. But I didn't know no better. I would ask my family for help, but nobody liked to give me help. So I just worked. People would beg me. I would give them. Now I'm broke. Yes, I am. And I'm homeless. And I had to follow people to find out what homeless meant because I stayed in the gas station for 3 years in the snow, rain, sleet, and hell. So then I found out what homeless meant. I found the car where they were sleeping in the back of some buildings. And they were in a car, so I got in a car too because I saw a spot. It was empty. So they was in there and I got in a car too. I didn't go right to sleep because that was my first time being homeless. I sat up and looked. It was a lot of rats. I mean, like hundreds of rats. But I had to sleep somewhere. But just to say, my first shelter was Harriet Tubman, and I did go to Second and D, but the lady wanted to sell a food stamp, and she said she was coming back. She took me out, and then she sold the food stamps. We went to smoking again. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta get in. My first time here. So my niece said, you can come and live with me, so I just walked out. I didn't want to be thrown out, no shelter. I walked out. So I'm here for Harriet Tubman over D.C. Journal because the men just talk about the men. Everybody in here been talking about men. We women, I'm a single mother. I have children. This man, I feed every month. He's overseas. I don't know where he is, but I feed the children. And I feed this young man every month out of my SSI. And I'm a disability too. I'm a disability and I go to school. This man right here and we went to Project Empowerment. And I have a record too. I done been in jail too. I did 5 years too. I just got out again in November. But I just went to I found a Project Empowerment and I went there too. Him and I just graduated. We went to a Capital City restaurant and we just graduated. And we're going to keep on going and going and going, but we are still homeless. And I pay rent at my family house, but they put me out again because they never wanted me to be nobody. So they want my money. Money. I can't go back to jail. I don't want to go back to jail. I'm just in between. I've been in between all my life. My mother had me in between all my life. And I got counselors. I don't want to tell people where I'm at, but I'm in mental health. I'm into a lot of programs. I go to Rachel's. I go to 930 Club on 4th E. I go to Rachel's on 10th M. I was going to N Street Village. I have a lot of places that I go, but I still go to school. And matter of fact, I went to public school for cafeterias, and I'm trying to get in there. I want to go to Hawk 1 and try to get in there. I went to the Chateau last night, and they had the bands coming with the handicap because they do handicaps on the weekend.
Excuse me, Ms. Green. Which shelter were you at last night?
I went to a club called the Chateau for handicaps.
Okay.
Okay, they do dances for the handicap, and they bring them in the vans and the trucks, and the handicaps have a night on Thursday. And I went down there, and the man told me to call him at 11 o'clock, and I was here, and I missed the call, but I'm going to call him as soon as I leave here because he wanted me to be an aide. Okay. But only thing I'm saying is her Tubman need the women. We need to address the senior citizens laying on the street during the day. I mean, they're old. I just got a lady up yesterday and asked her to go to the shelter. She has nowhere to go. The senior citizens need to stay in, and then they have to use Pampers a lot of them. They have nowhere to go. And we didn't address the children, the ladies that's on drugs, that want to get off of drugs. They're trying to get their kids back. We didn't address them. We women, we didn't address the... Wait a minute. I mean, it's a lot of issues about us being out from 7 to 7. We didn't address when Franklin was going in at 4 o'clock, we have to wait till 7 to go in, and we have to stand at bus stops and sit at bus stops or be at different places. I mean, why do we have to be in at 7 at night and we are ladies? Why can't we go in at 4? I mean, even if they're not going to school, but then a lot of people need programs like mental health. They need to try to help themselves. You got to help yourself first, and then somebody else will help you.
Thank you.